How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Ayin Ches, Daf 78 of Masechta BavaMetzia. Friends. Your friends. We're starting the next Mishnah. I think today's daf is going to be pretty short. Yay. How's Asocher going? It's cute, right? Let's go weiter. Hopefully the rest of Shas will just be a vacation. After Ezu Neshech. That would be nice. That would be very nice. That would be very, very nice. Let's go weiter. Okay. Says the Mishnah. Hasoicher es hachomer. Somebody who rents... Oh, let me rub my nose. Sorry, Bob. Alright. Hasoicher es hachomer. Somebody rents a chomer. Somebody rents a donkey. Lolicho bahar, and the rental agreement was for the mountains. Volicho babika, but the renter took it for a journey in the valleys. Babika volicho bahar, or fakert. The renter rented it for valley journeys, but he took it into the mountains. Even if both journeys would be the same distance, v'mesa, if the donkey goes to Donkwood, chayv. So he's going to be chayv. Right? He's responsible. Right? He said he was going to take it to the mountains, took it to the valley of Fakert, and donkey goes to Donkwood, and the the renter is going to be responsible for that. Okay, but now interestingly says the Mishnah that somebody who rents a donkey for journeys in the mountain, but he took it into the valleys. Im echlika potter. Interesting. So if the donkey died because it slipped, well then the renter is potter, because after all the rental was meant for the mountain, which is much slipperier than a valley. So I mean, the concern of the valley is usually not about slipping. So if it slipped, right, that's something that he was kind of insured for in a certain sense already, because he was meant to be taking in the mountain, so he's potter. But if it overheated in the valley, well, yeah, he's going to be chayav, because that donkey was a mountain donkey, not a hot valley donkey. If the rental agreement was for the valley, but the renter took it into the mountains, so in this case, if the donkey slipped and died, so then he's chayiv, because that donkey was supposed to be in the valleys, which are less slippery, and you took it into the mountains and it slipped, so you're chayiv. But if it overheated, oh my gosh, what's going on? My throat is getting so dry. And if the donkey overheated in the mountains, then he's potter. Overheating is more of a valley concern, not a mountain concern. But if it overheated because it was struggling to get up the mountain, and mamash was huffing and was puffing, and it boomed, it donkwooded, so in that case he'd be chayiv. Interesting. If a fellow rented a donkey and Rashi just says he'll explain the Gemara, but we'll explain the Gemara. Wait, I think the Gemara Taka maybe gives two answers. I guess we'll find out later. But I think the assumption is that it means that it went blind. That it went blind. Interesting. So Ruvain rents a renter rents a donkey and then it goes blind. Oshanaisa Zangaria, or the king's people come and they say, we need to use the donkey. So now the guy's like, oh man, now what do I do? The donkey's blind, or now, the king's people took the donkey because they need it, and they'll give it back eventually, but they need it now. So the renter, interesting. Shimon is the guy. Shimon is Shimon. The donkey owner. So so the donkey owner says to the renter, look, there's the donkey. Look, you rented the donkey. There's your donkey. Yeah, I know it's blind. Yeah, sure. You might have to, be more careful and guide it a little bit better. But, the point of the donkey is to load it up with stuff that you can't schlep yourself. Load it up all you want. Just, I guess, go slowly. But it could still, look, there's the donkey you rented. Keep it. Or, yeah, the king's people took it, but they'll give it back. Right? Meaning the owner says, I'm not giving you your money back. Just make it work. But, Meso Nishbara. However, if the donkey died or it broke, so then Chayiv Lahamid Lo Chomer, so then the owner would have to, if you rented it and the donkey's dead, okay, so there's no, just make do. I mean, the donkey's dead. But if a donkey goes blind, yeah, make do. Okay, fine. Says the Mishnah, says the Gemara, why do I have to cough so much? What happened? What should I do? What should I do, friends? What should I do? You know what I'm going to do? I'll do what we always do on Babylon Talmud. I'm going to go weiter. Mashna Reisha Diloka Maflig Umashna Seifa Dika Maflig. What is the difference between, right? So in the Reisha of the Mishnah, we say, look, if the rental agreement was for the mountains and you took it to the valley, or fakert from the valley and you took it to the mountains, chayiv. And then we start saying, well, if it slipped, then it depends. If it overheated, So how come in the Reisha we're just saying lo plug? If it was for the mountains and you take it to the valleys or fakert, forget about it. Mashna Reisha deloy ka maflig, umashna sefer de ka maflig. How come in the Reisha there's no I don't know, distinctions, whatever, and in the Seifa there are. Amri dever b'yanai, the Seifa the BavaMetzia of B'yanai, Reisha shemesa machmas ovir. Well, meaning in the Reisha, what Rashi explains it nicely actually. Lohuchakav lohama umesa me'atzma. Hol v'shina ba yochol lo malo lo mesa zo ela machmas ovir lo aisa limuda ligadol ba ovir har. Meaning, in the Reisha we're talking about where the animal just Pasha dropped dead. So now the owner, of course, is blaming the renter. He says, look, the rental agreement was for the mountains. My donkey is used to mountain air. You took it to the valley. The valley air is what killed my donkey. My shene tire donkey. Or fakert. My donkey is used to stuffy valley air, and you took it to the mountains with his nice, clean, fresh geschmack air. It doesn't like nice, clean. Not my donkey. My donkey doesn't like clean, fresh geschmack air, and the air killed it, and therefore you are chayev, renter. The aminon avir the har katla, aminon avir the bika katla. That the owner is going to make the argument. Look, it's the air of the mountain, the air of the valley that killed the shene tire donkey. Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina Omar kigon shemesa machmas uvtzino. Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina says that it died because it got exhausted. It got absolutely exhausted. And also, right, the owner kind of makes the argument that it got exhausted either in the mountains or in the valley, and therefore he's going to be chayiv. Rabbi Amar kagon sheikishan nachash. Rabbi says that it got bit by a snake and then died. I don't know. Maybe the argument is that there wouldn't have been snakes in the other place. Whatever it is, the owner blames the renter and says, look, the agreement was not for the place where it died. It's because you took it to that place that it died. You're responsible. Reb Chia bar Abba Rabbi Yechanan says Rabbi Yechanan, Hamani Reb Meir he. So says Rabbi Abba, the name of Rabbi Yochanan, that the ratio of the Mishnah is Reb Meir the Amar Kol Amayver al das shel balabayis nikra gazlan. The Reb Meir says that anybody who violates the terms of the das of the balabayis, the terms of the agreement or the intention of the balabayis, of the owner, nikra gazlan, he's a thief. He's a thief, and that's why in this case, and the gazlan, of course, is chayiv for own sin. And therefore, that's why he's going to be chayiv, right? He told the owner who was going to the mountains, he took it to the valley. He's a gazlan, and now it dropped dead, he's chayiv. Hey Reb Meir, where does Reb Meir say that kol amav das shabal abayis niku gazlan? Ilem Reb Meir ditzabo bororu. Maybe it's Reb Meir of the dyer that we learned about in Bava Kama, and that we learned about, we kind of referenced, I think, yesterday, and also maybe even the day before. We've been wrestling, I think things we've been, wow, what happened to my ability to talk? I think we've been referencing it for the past 2 days, so here we're going to talk about a shtickle more. If you're going to say maybe it's from the scenario with the dyer, that a person who gives wool to a dyer to dye it red, but he dyed it black. Adam, or the brief was to dye the wool black, but he dyed it red. Reb Meir Omer Nosin Lo Dmeitzmaro. So Reb Meir says, we want to assume that Reb Meir says, well, since he did not do what he was told, he's be'etzem a thief, and he's koneh, what does Rashi say? Nosin Lo Dmeitzmaro, B'damim Shetzemer Lova Nimka Bashuk, Dekani Begoz Lo, the Shalom Kshasa Gazela. Right, that says Rashi that the dyer didn't do what he was told. Right, he was Mavir al das shabal abayis. The Balabais said red, he did black. He's a thief, so therefore he has to pay back the client at Kishas Gazela, like at the time that he of the theft, when he dyed it the wrong way. So basically the value of just of plain old wool. Rabbi Yehuda says, if the value of the dyed wool is worth more than the amount that the dyer expended to dye the wool, then right, so you pay the lower amount, you pay the expense. If the expense was more than the value of the black wool or the red wool, the wrong wool, so then the client gives the dyer the shvach if that's less expensive, whatever is less expensive. So we see from there that according to Reb Meir, since the dyer did not do what he was told, it was supposed to be black, he did red or fakert, so he's be'etzem a thief, and because he's a thief, that's why he has to pay. So Mimai, how do we know that that because he did the wrong thing he's a thief? No, maybe the reason why the dyer needs to pay the client is not because he's a thief and he stole it, now he has to pay the value of it. No, it's that there was a shinoi maisa, right? He took regular wool, undyed wool, and he made a change to it. Now it's black wool. He changed it. So he was kona it through shinoi maisa, through that change. So now it's his, but he has to pay back the value. So it's not necessarily because kol amavri adas balabayis nikra gazlan. It's not necessarily that he's a gazlan. Maybe he's just kona peshinu ma'isa. That's why he pays the value. Elahar Reb Meir, out of the following Reb Meir, the Migbas Purim, the Purim collection, that they would collect money for the aniyim on Purim, for Sudas Purim. The Tana that we learned in the Brisa, Migbas Purim le Purim, that the Purim collection is for the use of Sudas Purim. Migbas Hoyer lo Sohoyer, and whatever they collect for a particular city, for the Purim collection, it's for that specific city. Vein medaktikin ba dover, and we are not medaktik ba dover. We aren't, right? We don't say, well, we collected all this money. They don't really need all that much money. Let's just put aside a certain amount of the money for Purim, and the rest we will we'll like put into the sort of community fund to fund other projects. No, we don't do that. Rather, we spend all of the money on meat for Purim, for the Purim Suda, and we buy calves and we slaughter them, and we eat them, and whatever's left over, then we could sell that leftover meat, and that will go, to the charity collection for other things. But lichatchila, we don't say, that they don't need that much. Let's just take some of this money and put it aside for other projects. No, we don't do that. Rabbi Eliezer Omer says, Rabbi Eliezer Migbas Purim, the Purim, that the Purim collection is for Purim. And if an ani wants to use that money for something else, to get some leather, to get a leather strap for a sandal, for a shoe, he can't do that because the Purim collection is for Purim needs. It's not a general tzedakah, it's not a general charity, it's specifically it's earmarked for Purim. And if he wants to use it for something else, he's going to have to, kind of work that out with the I guess certain people in the city that can work it out for him. Divrei Rabbi Yaakov Shalom Mishum Reb Meir. That's Rabbi Yaakov's opinion, who says in the name of Reb Meir. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Mekel. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, though, is Mekel, and he says that, right, that you could use these funds, whatever is not necessary for Purim, you could use for other things. But we see that according to Reb Meir, that any of this tzedakah, any of this collection that was earmarked for Purim must be used for Purim. It cannot be used for anything else. So we see you have to, right? You can't be over al das balabayis. So Dilma Asam Nami de Adaitu de Purim de Yoivle Adaitu de Midi Achvinu le Yoivle. Well, the concern there is that, since the balabayis, who's giving the charity, who's giving the money for the Mikbas Purim, is specifically intending for it to go to for Purim needs and not for other needs, so it's only given for those needs, but for anything else, it's not given for, and it still belongs to him. And therefore, and that's why it would be considered stealing, not because he necessarily did differently than what he wanted, but because simply it wasn't given for those other purposes, for anything other than Purim, it still belongs to the Balabais, and it would actually be theft. So Elahar Reb Meir, rather the following Reb Meir, the Tani Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Omer says Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Mishum Reb Meir, Hanosin dinar le'oni likach lo chaluk, that if somebody, if a balabai, if somebody gives a dinar to a poor person to buy a garment, lo yikach bo talis. If it's meant for a chaluk, don't buy a talis. If it's for a shirt, don't buy a cloak. Talis lo yikach bo chaluk. Or if it's a cloak, don't buy a shirt. Mipnei shemaver al daito shebalabayis, because he is being over al das balabayis. So there you go. So you see that it says Reb Meir that if it's for a talus, you can't use it for a chaluk, or vice versa. And if you do, you're being over al das balabais, and that's a problem. Wait, but maybe no. Maybe it's not because kol over al das balabais nikah gazlan. Maybe it's an anderazach. Maybe it's because, it could end up to people being choshed the balabais. How so? Well, the people are going to say, Omer planya zavnina le levusha lefloni anya v'lo zavan le. That the people are going to say, hey, so and so said that he bought this ani, a cloak, but that ani doesn't have a cloak, and it's because he didn't buy a cloak, he bought a shirt. Inam zavnina le glima v'lo zavan le. Or people are going to say, oh yeah, the balabai said that he bought this other garment for this ani, but he doesn't have it. So we want to say that the issue there is not that it would be called over adas balabayis nikah gazlan, but we're concerned that if the ani would buy something other than what he was meant to buy, well then the people might start talking about the balabayis who gave the money, the donor who gave the money, and start saying, oh yeah, he said that he bought such and such a thing for this poor person. That poor person doesn't have that. He didn't actually buy it. But the truth is, he did give the money for it. The poor person bought something else. So maybe it's not an issue of kol over adas balabayis nikah gazlan. Maybe it's just for practical reasons that we don't want anybody to be incorrectly suspecting somebody who gave charity. But im kain lesnim pnei achashad. But if that were really the case, that it was like we're just concerned about people getting the wrong idea and thinking the wrong thing, well then it would say mipnei achashad. Ma mipnei shemavri al daito shabalabais. What does it mean that he's being over al das balabais? Shmamino mishum deshanihu v'cholamavri al das shabalabais nikagazan. Rather, the issue is that he did differently than he was supposed to, and kol over al das balabais nikra Gazlan. And said the Mishnah, if somebody rented a donkey vivrika, my vivrika, what does mean vivrika? Targimu nehorisa. So here, I guess Bavel, they say essentially it's some kind of blindness. Something gets in the eye and it's some kind of blindness. Rav Amar says Rava Avzekis, some kind of situation where like worms like infest the donkey's legs or something. Yuck. And it like deteriorates. There was a person who said there is a moth in the wardrobe of the king, and it's eating all of the king's stuff. So they said to him, where is this moth? Is it in the flax, in the linen garments, or is it in the wool garments? Some say said it's in the linen garments and they killed him because I guess moths don't eat through linen. Those who say that he said it was in the woolen garments and they let him go. They didn't do anything to him because I guess moths eat woolen stuff. I once had a moth eat through some of my clothes in camp. Yeah, that was chaval. I liked one of those shirts. I remember there was a shirt that got a big hole in it from a moth. All right. Yeah, Chevre, that was daf Ein Chesed Masechet BavaMetzia. Interesting daf. We started a new Mishnah about renting things and violating the terms of the rental. Pretty interesting stuff, I think. Peace out.